Alright, let's go over the basics of Vijeo Designer 6.1. Vijeo Designer is the program that allows us to put all of our programs onto the Schneider Magelis HMI. The exact HMI that I'm using from Schneider is the XB-TGT2330. It's a 5.7-inch LCD screen running off of 24 volts DC. Okay, so this guy here we're going to program with the Vijeo Designer 6.1. Once we put everything onto there, we will eventually be talking to a Tweedo PLC using Tweedo Suite. The only frustrating thing about this, if you've been following my videos, is that I've just learned that the Tweedo PLC line is being phased out and is basically obsolete, which is really frustrating when you finally get your head around all the different programming of that PLC and then you find out that it's basically worthless. Not really worthless, but it's just the PLC's obsolete. They're not making them anymore. They are replacing them now with the Modicon line, which makes sense. The Modicon may have actually been the first line of PLCs. They're a decent PLC, and why would you be, promoting two different lines of PLCs rather than putting all your effort into the one line? So they're going to move over to the Modicon line. I'm sure it's very similar to the Tweedo PLC, just really frustrating when you put all that effort into learning one PLC and they no longer make it. But everything that we've learned with the Tweedo suite is essentially the same in the Allen Bradley or the Siemens. All the programming is exactly the same. It's just basically addressing or minor nuances between the two. All right, so we now need to open up our Vijeo Designer. So where do I have that? I've got it right here. So Vijeo Designer, there's my Tweedo suite for my PLC, Vijeo Designer for my HMI. So we'll open this bad boy up. And I'll show you the final product that we're going to be working for. I have different setups, one for home and one for at work, just with different IP addresses. So I've got them for the room 533 that I work in, and I'm setting up at home just so I have different IPs and I don't have to fix the IP every time that I move to a different place. So let's open this guy up. We'll see our final product here. Let's zoom in a little bit. And so we're going to put a start, a stop, a forward, and a reverse push button. We're going to put some indicator lights for each of those guys. And we're also going to put another push button down here so that if we wanted to add an additional page to go to, we can get there. And we're going to drop this in for system configuration in case we lose the IP. So let me just show you with the simulator what this is actually going to do. There we go. So by pressing any of the push buttons, then the light below is going to turn on. Eventually we will figure out the configuration to send that signal into the PLC. We're also going to place another button down here so we can add in a different additional windows with other push buttons if we want. And as I learned the hard way, if you lose the IP on these guys, it's very hard to get back to your system configuration. You're supposed to be able to press both sides of the touchscreen with your fingers and be able to get to the system config to set up your IP. It wasn't working for me. So we're going to put a push button right here so that when we need to get to our configuration and we need to get to our networking, then we can actually get to our IP address and change it if we lose that communication. Then we don't need to talk to it by USB or anything. We can keep using the Ethernet communications. So let's close this guy up. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new project here. So we're going to go to File, New Project. There we go. And let's say this is our test setup. Okay, we're going to have a single target to start. You can throw a password in there if you wish. That would just stop anybody from being able to change any of your things that you've put in there. But I don't want to put in there because I will guarantee forget my password. Okay, we're going next. Our first target name or first screen, we're just going to label target 1. And I'm using a 2000 series. And again, I'm using a 2330 model. So everything's cool. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to assign it a specific IP. So at home, I need to have a specific IP that matches with my network here. And so it's essential that if you have different IPs for different HMIs and different PLCs, that you keep an Excel spreadsheet of everything in each IP in one place, so that you can reference those IPs, see which IPs are still available, and then you don't have conflicts arise with another PLC or another HMI or another drive. Okay, again, if you're wondering what the IP is for your network, then you can just do a quick little check for IP config. And you can run that there, or actually you might want to start with the command prompt here, then you'll be able to see what you're doing. And so you type in IP config, come on, and then just scroll up here, and it gives you the IP address. So I got 192.168.2.204, subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, and my default gateway is 192.168.2.1. So these are the settings for me at home on my network. So we're going to use those and choose a value that matches so that we can drop it into this Vijeo here. So let's see. I'm going to put 192.168. Then remember it was .2. And then I am consistently addressing my PLC. Sorry, that's my PLC. My drive is 233. My HMI is 232. Okay, my subnet mask, this will probably work, but this has consistently worked. So I'm going to keep that as 255.255.255.0. And then we just saw that my gateway was 192.168.2 and then .1. Excellent. Okay, you can add an equipment list if you wish, but that's cool. Finish, and we're ready to rock and roll now. Okay, so first thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to change the background. The black is a little bit harsh, doesn't give me nice contrast with the push buttons and everything. So what I did was I went onto the internet, I found an image of brushed metal for a background for a computer, and I'm going to drop that onto here to be my background for my HMI. So we're going to here to image. I'm going to click on this, click on image, and then I can literally just grab the top corner here. A lot easier to grab the whole screen to start off with. Okay, let go with the left mouse, and let's see, I have this in my desktop files, and I'm going to use Brushed Metal Silver Texture by Sweet Soul Sister. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. So we got a nice nice brushed metal image there, not that harsh black, and that's going to be our background. I've learned the hard way that it is best to save as you go. So we're going to save this. We're not going to download yet to the HMI because I lost the IP at one point on one of my HMIs, and it was a real pain in order to get it back. So next thing I'm going to do is to go to switch. Again, if I'm going too fast, then pause and then go back. You can always change the speed on the YouTube videos as well. So if I'm going through too fast, you can slow down the pace of the video, and then I'll be talking like this, but you'll be able to follow what I'm doing. Or if you're really bored and I'm taking too much time to go through something, speed it up and you will rock through each video. So let's go here to switch. We're going to click on this guy. I'm going to hold down the left mouse key until I get to a decent size, and then click on the left mouse key. So I'm going to make this guy a raised push button. I'm going to label this guy, and so you see here it says disabled. I have to right click on this, put a static label there. Actually, I find that 6x10 matches nicely with that size of button, and so we're going to put in system configuration. Beautiful. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to go to general. I don't like the color, so let's see, color, for color. I'm going to use this blue right here. It's very nice. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is when I press that push button, there are a number of things that can happen. I can go straight to set IP address, but I also want to get into a number of things, so I'm going to go down here to System. I'm going to left click on that. Hang on, that should give me, let's see, right click on that bad boy. Okay, that's good. Then it gives me my options here, and I want to go to Configuration. Now, at that point, you'd think, all right, well, it's all set up. But you go here, and you have to add that in as one of the things that push button is actually going to do. Right now, that push button is going to do nothing. So add that in. There we go, and it's going to send us to the configuration for the HMI. And now I believe everything is cool. Raise push button, nice blue. I've put the label in there. We'll just keep the name as switch 01. And we're going to hit OK. There we go. And now we got system config. That's a little bit too tight, so whoops, I got the wrong thing. Hang on. I do not want that. I don't want to put another push button in. I just want to select that guy. So I'm going to select it and just move it over a touch. Beautiful. Okay. We're going to now go to save that bad boy. So we're going to save everything as we go. And now that we've done a number of things, we're going to go to build. First thing we're going to do is we're going to clean the feedback zone below. Then we're going to validate everything that we've done. Then it'll tell you if there's any issues. No issues. Then we're going to go to build once more, and we're going to build everything that we just put on the screen. Very nice. And as long as you have the appropriate IP and you've set the IP, when you turn on that Magelis and you give it the 24 volts for the initial time, you'll be able to go into the configuration and you'll be able to set up the IP address of the HMI. If both the IP address on the HMI and the IP address on this guy are matching, then we can go to download all. And this will now download to my HMI. There it goes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here. I'll show you the screen. I'm not going to subject you to this every time, but I'll show you the screen and the number of things that happen on the screen before what is on here actually develops on the HMI. Okay, so this is what the HMI is going to look like as it fires up. Okay, so it's downloading there. There's that image that we just made, that bitmap image. There we go. So it takes a little bit of time every time you download to this HMI. Just have some patience. Make sure everything's set up properly before you drop it in. Okay, so now we can see that we've got that brushed metal background. Oh, it looks nice. Then you're going to hit this system configuration. And then at that point, you can go to offline. Come on, buddy. Go to network. There we go. It says that you got to go out of run mode. That's cool. Again, takes a little bit of time to come in. And then we'll be able to see the IP address for this guy. And this will be the same screen that you're going to see when you start this HMI up. So there we go, 192.168.2.232, subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and my gateway is 192.168.2.1. I can change any of those guys, right? Just by pressing on it. I can change it to, whatever value I need to, and then hitting OK. It's going to say go back to the run mode, and again, it'll take some time to switch over. But that's how you can get to the IP address and set the IP. Without having that push button there, you're supposed to be able to touch these two corners and be able to get to that same screen, but that clearly is not working on this HMI. Okay, so we'll drop in that button on one of our screens every time, and then we'll be able to get to our IP. Okay, so now we've seen how to drop our program onto the HMI. Next thing to do is to put some push buttons on the screen. So you can go over here to Tool Chest Folders, and you can go down to Push Buttons, 3D, etc. And then this window right here gives you selector switches, rocker switches, push buttons, pilot lights. You can grab any of those guys there. The other way to create a push button is to click on the screen here, go up to switch, select switch, and then you can drop in a switch there. I'm going to left click on that, and it brings up my menu for that switch. And if you go to style, and then obviously this is the last one that I used, but the way that I got to that type of push button was I went down to browse, and then there's all these different types of push buttons below here. And the one that I was using was this one, 2004. So I'm going to select that guy. Now, if I want this one, now my first one was green, so that's fine. And I'll show you how to have this turn on the pilot light in a couple seconds. So we'll just say OK for now. And then we have to go up here to select, and then we can change the size of this bad boy so it looks proper. Okay, so that's a good size there. Let's see. We're going to copy and paste that guy a number of times. Now, I'm working on 6.1. 6.2 allows you to create an image, and then you can move it, or like once you change that image, then you can have it linked to a number of pages. And so the same push button could be on a number of pages, and just by changing one, you changed all of them. I haven't been able to find out how to do that on my version, but the newer version 6.2 allows for that and saves a lot of time. Okay, so now I want to just move these guys over, so I'm going to select each push button and just move them over so that they look nice. Okay, not bad. Again, when you have the grid, then it's a little bit easier to see. So you may want to remove this back image, put all your push buttons on, and then drop in the back image to make it look very pretty. Okay, looks good. So my first one was a green start push button. My next one was a stop push button. Okay. It's just not working. Okay, so that's frustrating if you can't grab an image. So I was stuck on my back image. Go out to the side here, left click, and then you can right click on your switch. So I'm going to edit the switch. This one I want to be my stop push button. So again, I'm still using the same style, but I want to change the color there. So I'm going to go to the 4 color, and I want this to be a red, and there's different gradients of red here that I can use. Okay, looks good. Next one, I use my forward as a blue. So again, I'm going to right click on this guy, edit the switch, go to the color, 4 color. I'd like to have a blue. Let's see how that looks. That's not bad. Tone it down a bit. Gorgeous. Okay, and then this one for the reverse. When I showed you guys, I had a gray switch there. So 4 color. We're going to go to a gray push button there, maybe a little bit darker there. Okay, looks good. Okay, so now we've got 4 different push buttons. Now, you can label these guys, so let me show you that. So you can go to Edit Switch, you can go to Label, and again, you would go to Static. And for this one, I would call this my Start. So I'll show you how this looks. 8x13 is a little bit too big, 6x10 is obviously a little bit smaller. And if we hit OK, then it has Start on there. That's actually not too bad. So we can have that label there, or we can put in a text box below. So where was the text box? Give me 2 seconds to find that. Text. Okay, drop that guy in there. Again, left click on it, and we can say that's our Start push button. Okay, looks good. And we'll select that. We'll make that guy a little bit smaller, and then we'll just move it into place. You have to use your arrow keys sometimes to line everything up nicely. Okay, so you can label it either way. I find it's a little bit hard to see that start on the actual push button. So I'm going to actually make this a little bit bigger here. So we'll go 8 by 13 and see how that works. Okay, that's cool. And then I'm going to eliminate that label from the switch. But obviously, it's totally up to you guys what you guys like. Okay, now I've got that label. I can now copy and paste that across. Okay, looks good. This one is my reverse. Okay. Got this guy, move it up. Use the arrow keys to get her in line there. Looks like it's not lined up with the other one. Looks good. Then we're going to click on this guy, edit our text. This is our forward. Beautiful. So again, once you do all this one time, then you can literally just copy and paste from your other images that you've set up for each of your screens. Okay, so we're going to edit text. This guy is going to be our stop. Beautiful. Okay, that looks nice. This one maybe we'll drop her down just a touch, see if that lines up a bit. Okay, that's cool. That's good enough. Okay, so again, done a number of things. We're going to save. Okay, we're going to go to build, clean everything in the feedback. We're going to validate everything. Oh, we got some issues. Switch must contain at least one action. Okay, so if I tried to download this to my HMI right now, it won't let me because I have these errors. I need to have these push buttons actually do something. So we can't download it yet. So let's clean that up just so we don't have red screaming at us. And let's grab some pilot lights now. Okay, so let's see. Let me find the pilot light that I was working with earlier. Okay, so you have a number of pilot lights over here that you can grab and then drop into the screen there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, easy now. It's really frustrating that it doesn't go back to the selector switch here. Okay, so I'm going to go up to lamp. I'm going to select lamp. I'm going to create an image there, left click on that guy. And then I'm going to go to style, down to browse. And again, all of the same images that I had there for my push buttons could also be my pilot light. And on previous window, I had 1006 for the style. Okay, so for that guy, I need a green lamp as well. Looks good. I don't have to label it or anything. Let's see how that looks. All right, beautiful. Okay, again, frustrating that it just doesn't go back to the selector so I can move things around. Okay, we'll make it the same size as our start push button there. Looks good. Maybe let's see if we can drop her down. No, that doesn't look good. Just a touch. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, so let's see. We can have it this size, or if we just scale this out, we can have it like this. Let's keep it like that. It's nice and large. And again, we're going to now copy and paste. So I'm right clicking on it. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste that onto the page, move it over to roughly where I want it. And I'm hoping that in the newer version that it lines up properly. Like on a lot of web image programs, if you drop an image in and there's already an image above, it provides you with lines to say that everything is going to line up. Okay, looks good. So green, this guy's obviously got to be red. So we'll change our color here. looks good. Now let's see, we've got off and on, right? So let's go for the on as a brighter red. Okay, and then for the off, we'll just have a muted red there for the off. Okay, looks good. Okay, then for this guy, for the blue, again, we're going to go to edit the lamp. We're going to go to color, and let's see, for the blue, when it's off, we want a muted blue. So let's go for something like this with a dark blue like that. Okay, and then when it goes on, let's go for the same blue, but let's make it nice and bright. Okay, looks good. Maybe this can be even a little bit more. Maybe like, I don't know what looks better, darker or lighter. Can't make up my mind. Okay, looks good. And then finally this one here, I made this guy as a purple. Edit lamp, go to color, beautiful. And then let's see, we'll pick a purple here. Looks good. That'll be when it's off, so like a muted color, and then when it's on, we're going to go for that same purple. Here, let's go for this here. There we go. Again, can't really tell whether I want to have it a lighter or darker. Just make up your mind, Pete, and move on. Okay, beautiful. So the next thing we need to do is that we now need to link our push buttons and our lights now. So we're going to right click on this guy, we're going to edit the switch, and then we're going to change the operation. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the bit, and we're just going to toggle that bit there. Maybe we just need to have this guy momentarily on, and we're going to add a new variable there. Okay, so we're going to go over here to this light. We're going to add a new variable here. We're going to say it's just internal, not external to the HMI. This is going to be my start, and looks good. Nothing else required. So now I've got this start that can now be referenced by the light. Okay, we're going to add that guy in. Okay, and I think I'm going to toggle it actually. And you notice that I hit add there. There we go. Okay, so when I hit that push button, it's going to toggle that bit now. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. So what might have been a good idea would be to have that set before and then copy and paste. Okay, so I'm going to toggle. I'm going to create a new one here. This push button here is my stop. Hit OK. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to add that in and hit OK. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're just continuing on. Let's just quickly do that forward and reverse. So we're clicking on this, editing the switch, and this guy is going to do the operation. We're going to do set a bit. We're going to toggle that bit. And for this guy, we got to create the forward. Add it in. Excellent. And finally for this guy, edit the switch. And we're going to set the bit. Toggle it. And for our reverse, we got to make a new one. Hit OK. That's good. And then we got to add that bad boy in. And then we're ready to rock. Okay, beautiful. So now we've got each of these guys set. Last step is to, now this lamp variable, we can just go down here. Instead of going to here and editing the lamp, right? So you can go to edit the lamp, and you can go to here and hit the variable. So for that guy, we can go to the start, and when the start is toggled, then this guy is going to turn on. We'll hit OK. And as soon as that changed, then this value changed right here. Okay, so let's do the same thing, but let's save some time. And let's toggle this with the stop. We'll hit OK. Then this guy with the forward now. Nice. And finally this guy with the reverse. Sweet. So now everything should be set up now. So let's go to build now. Clean all. Validate everything. Oh, that's nice. Validation complete. Build all. Right on. Okay, there didn't seem to be any issues. Okay, let's see if we can drop that into the HMI now. Okay, so to drop it into the HMI, we're going to go to build again. If you're doing the simulation, let me just quickly show you that. To show you that simulating it, you can now toggle each of your push buttons. Ooh, that's nice. Excellent. Okay, so that's the way everything should work. So we'll close that bad boy up. We'll go to build. We're going to download all. Should be one more window here where we have to hit OK. Again, taking a little bit of time. Let me just pause this as it goes through. Sweet. Okay, so everything's over at the HMI now. We've seen it on the simulation. So just to finish this up, I'll pause here. I'll grab the camera and I'll show you the actual HMI and see it. We'll see it working with everything that we set up. Okay, so program's just dropping in right now. Hey, that looks pretty slick. Excellent. Okay, so now by hitting any of these push buttons, you can see that all the colors are muted there. And I hit this push button and it should brighten up each of those lights. Hey, very cool. This guy right here, right on. This forward should light up the light below. Very nice. And then the reverse. Excellent. So that's quite a bit of work that we've done so far. We've been able to change the background. We put a system configuration push button here to get to all of our configs for the HMI. We've dropped in push buttons that are looking very nice. And we've got some indicator lights that when we hit this push button, it now toggles this bit, and that bit changes the color there. Very cool. Still not talking anything external of the HMI, but that's pretty good for a first stop, guys. Thanks very much for your patience, and we'll see you on the next video.